Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
So, a name that we're going to be hearing a lot of this offseason, whether you're a Raider fan or not, is Justin Fields. So the question that Mike from New York had was, what would it? Do you guys like Justin Fields? What would it take to get him? And how come nobody talks about how much he's going to get? He's going to want to get paid. Because let's be honest. Like, if you make the deal to get Justin Fields, this is year. He's going into year. Let me just pull up his thing real quick. He's going into year
4.
Going to year 4. So it's time to pony up. And then how much are you willing to pay Justin Fields? Anywhere between $40 and $50 million a year for his services. Like, if you want to, do you feel like that a guy like that is worth it with his his pass? He definitely elusive. Definitely can make some big plays. But do you really want to, do you want to sit there and say that he's worth getting paid that kind of money? It's a going rate for a starting quarterback, so you can't really say it's like, you can't deny him that part of it. But, would you rather trade some future assets, or would you rather go ride with Justin Fields and see if you can catch lightning in a bottle here, if you will?
Yeah, the Justin Fields conversation, you don't have to pay him for 2 more years. So this is not like you have to acquire him and give him a big contract tomorrow. You have him on the books for next year on the 4th year of that rookie deal. I would assume if you're going to trade for him, you're going to pick up the 5th-year option. I think it's by May 2nd. It's like the first week of May. That number is going to be somewhere like 22 to 25 million, which for a quarterback, the Raiders just basically gave that to Jimmy Garoppolo. So I have no issue with the first 2 years. And if he doesn't play well enough after 2 years, then you move on and you go find another quarterback. Me personally, I would rather go get your young guy in the draft this year and have access to that rookie contract for 5 years. Now, having said that, the options that are going to be there for the Raiders, whether that's Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr., they're only a year younger right now than Justin Fields. If you get Justin Fields, you have a guy that's been in this league for 3 years, going into his 4th year, who has shown to be an elite, elusive quarterback who's hard to bring down, who's physical, that has arm strength. Now, asking him to sit in an offense and be a pocket passer and go through progressions is not his strength. So it's going to depend on who the coaching staff is. Who is the offensive coordinator that AP brings in will determine probably whether or not you want to go get Justin Fields. Because if you've got Justin Fields and you try to put him in this rogue, hard-degree offense, you're not doing the kid any favors. You want to roll him out. You want to have some design runs. You want to build towards his strengths. And as much crap as he gets for people saying he's not a good passer, go look at DJ Moore's numbers this year with Justin Fields. But Justin Fields isn't a complete loss as a passer. Is he one of the best 5 to 8 passers and the pure passers in the league? No, he's not. But he's probably one of the 2 or 3 hardest guys to bring down in the open field. And hopefully at 24 years old, he'll be 25 next year, he continues to develop. So if you're asking me, if it's a 3rd round pick and you get Justin Fields for 2 years and $31 million, would I do that? I probably would do that. Because to me personally, I would want to go up and get May, Williams, Daniels. You could talk me into Penix if they stay at 10 or 11 and take him for the 5 years. But if I'm not getting one of those guys, I'm taking Justin Fields over waiting until the 2nd or 3rd round to take a quarterback, because he's better than all those guys. And the people the longtime listeners know how we both felt about Justin Fields coming out of Ohio State. I had him as quarterback 2 behind Trevor Lawrence coming out. I had him over Mac Jones and Trey Lance and all the guys that that kind of went ahead of him. Mac Jones went right behind him, but he's still young. He can still develop. Now, the fumbling is an issue. The kind of where he's at as a passer, like I said, is an issue. But that kind of quarterback in this game today, in today's game, just to be able to run around and make plays and rip off a 30 or 40-yard run when it's a sack, or get out of a sack. So instead of 2nd and 20, it's 2nd and 2. I'm not going to call him Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson MVP is going to win his second MVP this season, but it's not that different than Lamar Jackson is kind of what style of game he plays. Now he's in Chicago. I don't care what the record is. The first 2 years, he literally had no one around him. They had a terrible offensive line, they had a bad running game, and they had no wide receivers. And this year, you give him DJ Moore, Cole Kmet makes a step, the offensive line slightly better. And you see what he's done since he's got back on the field. They've won, I want to say, 4 of their last 6 games. So, like, it's not like Chicago's out there and they're terrible. He's out there winning games in the National Football League. And if you put him on this Raiders roster with the way this Raiders defense is playing right now, and you give him a Devontae Adams, and you give him a Michael Mayer and a Jacoby Myers, and you play Trey Tucker in the slot and give him a deep threat, and you give him Josh Jacobs and Zamir White, can Justin Fields go out there and take this team to the playoffs? Absolutely, he could take this team to the playoffs. Can you win a Super Bowl with Justin Fields? I don't know if you can win a Super Bowl with Justin Fields, but I know you can be a perennial playoff team and hope that because he's 24, that over the next 3 or 4 years that he develops into that. Do I want to pay him $50 million based on the 3 years of what we've seen? No, I don't. But you don't have to.
But if you trade for him, doesn't he hold the? I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate. If you trade for him, can't he say like, listen, I'm not? I mean, like I want to get paid now. Like, you know what I mean? Because like you're trading for me. Like, if he can. I mean, holding out doesn't work anymore. But like he if he wants to come and he wants, because like he could if he says I want. That's fine. I'll accept the trade. I'm not accept the trade, but like because he doesn't have a no trade clause. But I'm coming, but I'm expecting to get paid. And just to make a point like that you made about DJ Moore. This is by far and away DJ Moore's best season in the league. 92 catches, 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's averaging like 81 yards a game.
No, because Justin Fields still has 2 years on that rookie deal. Now, he'll definitely play in 2024. He doesn't have any leverage in 2024, especially if you pick up the 5th-year option.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will he play on that? If he goes out and he leads this team to a deep playoff run, is he going to play on the 5th-year option? Probably not. But if he leads you into a deep playoff run, then you know the answer to the question. Then you're going to pay him.
Yeah.
If you give up a 3rd-round pick and he wants to fight you 2 years from now over money that you don't want to give him, then move on. It's a 3rd-round pick. And that point, go get another quarterback at that point. So I'm not saying if you trade for him, you have to give him an 8-year deal at $200 and something million. He still has to go out there and prove it. Justin Fields isn't in a position where he has negotiating power. Not next year, and probably not in the 5th-year option. And then if you really wanted to, you could franchise him for another 2 years after that. So you really have 4 years. Now, I don't think you're going to stretch it out that long because you're going to know within the first year or two what you want to do long term. But essentially, you have him for 2 years. And you can make your determination at that point what you want to do as an organization. I will caveat again, like I said, my preference would be go out and get the guy you want in this draft. But they may be in a position where that's not possible. If Arizona decides they don't want Kyler Murray anymore and they take a quarterback, and Chicago takes a quarterback, and the Giants decide we don't want Daniel Jones, and Washington takes a quarterback.
Exactly.
And then you start seeing all these teams trade ahead of the Raiders. The teams behind them could trade ahead too. There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But if they roll into next year with Justin Fields, I wouldn't give up a 1 for him. Surely wouldn't do that. But if they roll into next year with Justin Fields, am I going to be upset? No, I'm not going to be upset. I would be perfectly fine with Justin Fields next year at quarterback for the Raiders.
And my question, last question: if it's for Chicago, you think Chicago? I mean, it's a lot of smoke, but do you think Chicago's actually going to hold on to Fields and trade that pick, or do you think Chicago's going to go ahead and?
So I was actually talking to this. My brother's a Bears fan, so we talked about this.
Oh, okay.
If you're Chicago,
yeah,
and you like what you've seen from Justin Fields, and again, you have him for 2 years and $31 million left, assuming you pick up the 5th-year option. You could take Rome Odunze at 10. So now you give him another wide receiver. You could trade the first pick. What did they get from Carolina last year? They got 3 1s, DJ Moore, and a 2.
Yeah.
You can get more than that if you want to move. So do you want to build around Justin Fields and now just stockpile draft picks for the next 2 or 3 drafts and still come away from this draft? Let's say they traded a third and you come away with the 10th and 11th pick, and you can go get Roma Dunze and a really good offensive tackle and give that to Justin Fields. It's definitely a conversation that needs to be had because they might be able to get 4 number 1 picks for that draft pick. We don't know. They're going to get at least 3. They might be able to get 4. They could get 3 and a 2, and just stockpile multiple picks. And then maybe this is the class for them to do it because I don't think that they're going to be in a position to pick in the top 2 or 3 over the next 3 years, assuming they got 3 ones. But are you better off with Justin Fields for 2 more years? Because he's played very well over the last 4 or 5 weeks for the Chicago Bears. And then adding to that supporting cast with a tackle and a wide receiver. This is a very good offensive tackle and wide receiver class.
And also the Bears have also played well defensively during this stretch as well too. So maybe maybe that's why the smoke about Eberflus staying.
And
yes, go ahead.
They're in a division that they can win. I know Detroit's run away with it kind of this year, but Green Bay isn't going to be a perennial powerhouse in the next couple of years. Minnesota, who knows what they're going to do at quarterback? And then what are they going to do with Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins? And if Detroit comes back to down, at all next year, Chicago can win that division with Justin Fields if they go out and they can add some impact players in the first round.
Yeah, makes sense. Interesting
maybe
talk.
They take maybe just say screw it and take Marvin Harrison one. We don't know.
Exactly.
I doubt they would do that.
Yeah, me either.
As good as Marvin Harrison is, I'm taking 3 or 4 first-round picks for that pick.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you can find wide receivers, especially when you already have one in DJ Moore, right? You already have a really good one in DJ Moore, so you can develop somebody down the road. All right, Raider Nation. Listen, let's draft talk. It's going to be here when you get eliminated from the playoffs. So you got everybody going out to the game on Sunday, last game of the year. Enjoy yourself. Ryan, we'll preview that game later in the week. You have a great day, brother.
You too. Take care.